I'm Ty, welcome back to week 9 of me documenting my journey as a musician and guitarist. A few weeks ago in one of these videos I mentioned that I don't really do enough lap tapping, but it's something I'd like to do more of and practice more of, and I have a lot of fun every time I do it, but I just never really make the time to do it compared to electric guitar or the more typical I play. But the other day I was sitting outside, it was a lovely sunny day, and just felt like lap tapping, so I got a few clips which I'm going to show you now of me doing some of that. Always good fun and so much untapped potential if I just practiced it more and expanded my vocabulary of phrases and little bits that I put together. I could make so many different pieces or sounds out of that. Will I do more lap tapping before I leave for Asia in a month? Who knows, maybe. But as you may know from the last couple of videos, the main focus while I've been back here in this room that you can see is recording parts for the music that I want to release later this year. And in that regard, this week was a bit of a slow week. I actually didn't have much luck trying to get some parts down, spent a lot of time like beating around the bush trying to record and just wasn't happy with the takes. And on top of that, there's still one guitar, this one in the back there, that I still need to restring to actually record the parts on that. But that's alright because I've got a bass and the acoustic guitar and my other guitar which I've been recording on, so it's actually not really a big deal. Now, the piece I focused on this week was a piece that I worked on in July. I had the idea when I was in Belgium, I think on the way to Belgium. So I'll quickly remind you of that. Now, for better or for worse, I could show you what I recorded this week and you would say that's just pretty much the same as what I just played you. Except now I got the proper recording of it rather than like the demo rough take. Like I've got the new strings, the timing is perfect, I've got the bass part and all those things. I wouldn't actually want to use something I just kind of whipped up on the spot, even though it might sound good, maybe there's nothing wrong with it, but I want to get this right. I want the guitar to sound as good as possible and I want to know that I played it perfectly, especially when it's something that needs to be in time. So with that said, here is specifically what I recorded for this piece this week. So as you can see here, I was laying down the main electric guitar part. You do not want to know how many times this took me to get right. I was literally trying this for over an hour. The thing is, there probably was a lot of right takes in there, but just had a mental block and I just kept thinking something was wrong with them. Part of the problem when you're trying to record something professional, like really record the best take, doing it on your own, you don't really have another reference point or someone else to bounce off or a second pair of ears for when you're a bit too close to the woods to see the trees. But thankfully, I finally got it to a point where I was actually happy with it. Probably after like the 10th usable take, I added probably what will be the easiest bass part on this whole mix of songs that I'm going to put out. It was actually quite hard for me to not just play a bunch of notes and just literally stick to one note. That's not really something I tend to do, but I played around with a few different versions. I tried doing 2 notes, I tried doing a couple of fills, and I just realized that on this particular section, just very minimal bass, just literally the undertone of the chord without noticing anything else is what's going to work best. Here, things change up massively, doing quite a heavy, it's actually a Sleep Token inspired bass riff actually, but obviously applied in a completely different context. This is going to be for the outro of the song, and I had the idea while I was sitting there doing lots of recording, and although the recording session wasn't very fruitful, I had lots of ideas of how I'm going to build out the song and how it's going to fit together section by section and things like that. I landed on this, and there's going to be some guitar harmonies, big crashing chords and drums, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's it for this week. Very brief one, or at least it feels very brief. I'm not sure how long this will turn out. But yeah, although it didn't really feel like I got much done, we ploughed forward, got the progress done, did some lap tapping on the side as well, that was fun. And I'm now about halfway through my time here. I'm coming up to about halfway through the amount of time I've got to record these parts. In terms of where I am, like how that measures up to how much I actually need to record, saying I've even done 30% would probably be generous, so I need to up my game a little bit. Which is funny because I've also been doing way more recording and really dedicating a lot of time to this. But like I said, I haven't been that efficient with it, so maybe it's time to think a bit differently about it. More on that next week. Thanks for watching. If you're even slightly curious about what goes on behind the scenes for someone who is really trying to work on their music and their guitar skills and all the things that come with it, the ups and downs and the good and the bad, just to see what this turns into, then subscribe and I'll see you on the next one.